Hey everybody, Jeremy here. So today I'm going to be pulling the curtain back a little bit and I'm going to show you my video editing workflow process when it comes to editing videos for YouTube. And in particular, I'm going to be editing a action figure review today for the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Black Lantern Superman. All right, I thought it could be pretty interesting to kind of just show folks what the whole process is like. Depending on how complicated you want a review to be, if you got a lot going on or if you're adding a lot of effects and stuff, then that's going to increase the time that it takes to edit. But if you're trying to do something more kind of straightforward, then it's not going to take as much time. So let me just show you how I get down. All right, so here is what I use. This is Davinci Resolve 18. I've been using this for maybe almost a year now. I used to use Adobe Premiere Pro, but I got tired of paying for it every month. But here's what I'm doing now. So I'm keeping this pretty simple. As you can see over here in my master bin, I have 3 video files. I have a beginning part, which is like an intro, and then I have the main core of the review, and then I have some B-roll. We're going to put all those together in the video. And also, when I'm done putting together the core, that's when I tend to add the intro with the graphics and the music, and then the call to action. And then for action figure videos, I also have like a little graphic near the end for the review score. I keep all of those things that I frequently use in something called power bins, and I have a folder called frequent clips. So over here is the figure review score graphic, is the music for the intro, the actual intro, the review score graphic, and then the call to action at the end for subscribing and all that stuff. But I'll do that later. So I'm going to go back to the regular master bin. I'm going to grab the first clip and toss it in. Now I shoot all my videos in 4K, so I'm going to make sure that it's reflected here. So here's my timeline resolution. I got the video monitoring on 1080p HD because I don't have a 4K monitor, but that looks good. It's at 60 frames per second pretty much, so we're looking good here. And here we go. Now this is not Superman, this is Owlman. I'm also doing a review on him, but I shot both of the intros at the same time, so I don't have to go back and do it later. So I'll just skim past Owlman here. And I'm going to turn this part down a little bit here. And you see all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. I'm moving around, doing all this and that, messing up a bunch. All right, so here is the Superman. Now, I always try to figure out or remember when I mess up. And when I do mess up, I try to leave big gaps of no audio in between. So that kind of tips me off to be like, okay, don't worry about this part. You need to jump like right here. So like all of this is a waste of time. And I need to start right there. All right, so let's start. Hey everybody, so today I've got the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Black Lantern Superman. Okay, here's another gap, so let's see what happened here. I thought this line looked pretty cool. Okay, so I need to start right there. Hey everybody. And so I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. I think I'll start it right here. Hey everybody. So that there's not too much silence, at the very beginning. So I'm going to start it about right there. And then I'm going to hit B on my keyboard to bring up this little snipping tool. I'm going to cut that there, and I'm going to cut the audio. For some reason, they're not linked. I could link them, but I'm not right now. And then I'm just going to get rid of all of that. Let's go ahead and link these two together. Zoom back out, bring that back to the beginning, and let's see what we got. Hey everybody, so today I've got the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Black Lantern Superman. Now this is part of the Build-A-Figure wave for Blackest Night. You get 4 characters, put them together, and then you'll be able to build Atrocitus. So I got this guy online. You can buy all the figures that you need right now. Amazon is a place that I like to go most of the time. And here are the other figures that you can get in order to complete the Build-A-Figure wave. So in addition to the
I
Superman
wonder
here,
where I
we
messed
also
up
have
because there's a gap
Batman,
here.
we have Deathstorm, and then we have Green Lantern Kyle Rayner.
I'm not sure why I stopped right there, but since I did, I'm going to cut it right here. And I still have, do I still have to cut the audio as well? Yeah, for some reason, I don't know why it doesn't cut together, but whatever. So I'm going to do that. And now I probably messed up right here. So let me start here.
I thought this line looked...
All right, that's good enough. So I'm going to cut that there. And I'm going to cut that there. Can't see past my microphone. All right, so let's see how that flows together.
Kyle Rayner. I thought this line...
I think that's too much of a gap right there after I said Kyle Rayner. So I think I'll just cut this right here. Because I try to trick you guys so that you will think that there isn't as much of a pause in between some things if I can. All right, so let's see.
Rayner. I thought this line looked really awesome when they first revealed it, and I'm just going to be getting these figures one by one. You're going to get the legs for Atrocitus in this build. We'll get to the other figures later, but for now, let's take a look at this Superman.
All right, then I get up and walk away. All right.
This Superman.
All right, good. So that is the intro. So I'm going to cut that there. Get rid of that. So that is how the very first part of it goes. And now here is the body of the review. Now I do remember I messed up quite a bit. I don't know. I was just off today. So let's see what happens if I start here.
So here's our black.
Okay. So as you can see, all of this here is me messing up. So we're going to start right there, maybe.
So here's our.
All right, that's fine. So I'm going to cut that there, cut that there. Get rid of all this, zoom that over.
So here's our Black Lantern Superman, and before we dive too deep into it, here is a look at the two Build-A-Figure legs.
There's another gap. Although that might not be a problem. Let's see.
Give you a sense of how tall the Build-A-Figure is.
Nope, messed up right there. Messed up right there. All right, so we're going to start here.
So here's our Black Lantern.
All right, so do the same thing as before. Cut that there. I think those two are already cut together. Yep, they are. All right, let's keep moving.
Here's a look at the two Build-A-Figure legs that you get with them. Get a sense of how large that figure is going to be. And then we also get the base like all the other figures come with, and we get the collectible card. And the cool thing about this card now is that they're
in
the back. So this is one of many, many Supermen that we've gotten from McFarlane Toys.
I'm not going to make you listen to the entire thing. I'm just going to sort of bounce around just so you can, you know, get a sense of what's going on.
Had to figure out a way to explain back in the day.
Okay.
Boy Prime, and the reason why.
All right. So let's see what happened with this gap here.
It was a really cool story. Gone. And this is his zombified form. So I thought that was a really cool story.
All right, so what's this clip?
So let's take a look at our dearly. Really cool story.
All right, so we're going to stop here. So we cut here. And let's see what this here is all about.
And it was one of the most defining.
Okay.
So let's take.
So this is where this starts. I'm going to cut that there. Fill in that gap.
Man from the golden age. First thing, look at that face. You know, the face is going to just tell the story completely.
I don't think I want to keep this in. Let's see. What do I say here?
And it was one of.
No. Let's move on because I remember messing up quite a bit here.
And the zombified features of this Superman.
No.
And the zombified.
No.
And the zombie.
All right, so I have to keep this part in so that it's understood what I'm talking about.
So let's take a look at our dearly. Look at that face.
All right, so I'm gonna stop it at look at that face, and then I'm gonna move it ahead to where I'm talking about zombified features.
And the zombified.
Let's see if this one is also the zombified features.
And I think the zombified nature of this.
Zombified nature, this right here.
The black around the eyes.
Okay.
The red eyes, the teeth.
So I'm going to start here.
And I think the zombie.
Okay. So I cut out all of this here.
At that face. And I think the zombified nature of this Superman and the
I think
Batman
that works.
Is really going to drive people to this line. Because I still don't think as a society, we're not quite over zombies just yet. But McFarlane nailed it with this face. Those, the black around the eyes, the red eyes, the teeth.
So here's a part where I will throw in some B-roll because now I'm talking about the face. And I remember shooting B-roll for the face. So I like to just bring in the entire clip of B-roll. There's no need for audio. And I'm going to get to the point where I get a close-up of the face. And I had a little bit of a pan from down to up, I think. Okay, so there's that. I might save this particular one for another part of the review when I'm talking about the chest. But let's see if I can kind of keep the face. I'm going to mute the audio real quick just so I can see how long I had it on his face. Okay, that's a pretty decent amount of time. So let's see if I think I was probably messing with the focus a little bit. Yep, I'm touching the camera. I see him shaking. All right, so I'm going to stop it right there, and I'm going to cut that there. And go. As soon as I start shaking it again, actually, I think that's long enough. All right, so I'm going to cut this part out here as well. Let's make it smaller so I can know what I'm working with. I'm going to move this down. Actually, I think I need to move it even further back. I'm going to get this out of the way. And now I'm going to go back to the part where I'm talking about his face and throw in that B-roll, which is going to be somewhere down here. Oops, got to unmute it.
Society, we're not quite over zombies just yet.
Almost there.
McFarlane nailed it with this face.
Okay.
Those, the black of his face.
All right, so I talked about the face. I'm going to move that here. And I'm going to add a cross dissolve transition to the beginning of it.
Quite over zombies just yet. But McFarlane nailed it with this face. Those, the black around the eyes, the red eyes, the teeth, the rotting teeth, the color.
Okay, so that lasts a good amount of time. I'm going to do
that they put on it. It's just
cross dissolve
wonderful face sculpt.
Awesome.
Looking at the rest of the costume, this S is kind of sloppy, so it didn't come out quite as clean as.
All right, so I'm going to stop that right there. Quite as clean is where I'm going to throw in the B-roll where I am panning up, or yeah, I'm going to be panning up from him. All right, so I'm going to start right there. The rest of this back here was me just sort of setting up the shot, so I don't need that at all. Let me go ahead and just mute this part here. Slowly panning up, slowly panning up. And this is all done on a tripod. Cool. All right, so stop it there. Cut that. Drag this back here. Let's see, where do I start talking about the S?
But it's just not as clean as I would like. Looking at the rest of the costume, this S is kind of sloppy.
All right, so I'm gonna do, I try, usually I don't want to put two B-roll clips so close to each other, because I like for the B-roll to cut in, you go back to the main shot, kind of let you breathe for a few beats, and then introduce another shot of B-roll, just so it's not so much sensory overload. But hey, whatever. Let's keep going.
Looking at the recipe, so it didn't come out quite as clean as I would like for it to, and at times I kind of have to squint my eyes and tilt my head in order to see whether or not that's actually an S. I mean, it is, but it's just not the best. Looking on the back, you can see that because this guy's a corpse, his cape is kind of tattered, is shattered here.
All right, so I messed up at this point.
That because
what do I say here?
And I think the zombified nature of the Superman and the Batman is what's really going to draw people's eye when they see this figure in stores.
Wait a minute.
And I think the zombified.
Wow. All right. So that is an interesting revelation. All right. So I thought that this is where I didn't mess up anymore, but it turns out I messed up over here, in that this clip actually needs to start here.
I think the zombified nature of this.
That happens sometimes.
And I think the.
All right. So basically I need to undo everything that I just did. It's no big deal. I mean, these things happen. I just got to reposition these clips. I still have them. I just have to reposition them, or potentially shorten them depending on what happens. So it's really no big deal. Let's keep going.
At our dearly departed Superman. And I think the zombified nature of the Superman and the Batman is what's really going to draw people's eye when they see this figure in stores, is what drew my attention. And I think us as a society, we aren't quite over.
All right, so I need to definitely, what am I doing? I need to definitely move these over so I'm sure what I'm talking about.
Just yet. But that being said, look at the face.
Look at the face. All right, so this is when I drag this guy over. Look at the face.
Highlighting what McFarlane does best. The face sculpts, the black around the eyes, the
and sometimes the second take is better than the first take. So I think this worked out.
Looking head sculpt. I absolutely love it. It's what really draws everything out. The skin is sort of like that pale, decaying kind of a color. You can see like the wrinkles and stuff on the arms, so he really does look like a corpse in this, and they did a great job with that. Looking on the back, it's not that traditional Superman cape. Is torn into 3 different sections. There's 1, there's 2.
Yep.
Another thing with these Superman figures in general is that they're always so easy to work with, because they're not held down by costumes that kind of get in the way and jack relation for this guy.
So it's interesting. So in this clip, I don't think I mentioned the sloppiness of the S on the chest. I don't think I mentioned that. I feel like I want to keep that in because it is a criticism, and it is a valid criticism. So I tell you what I am going to do here. I'm going to undo what I took out. And I'm going to find where I mentioned the S on the chest, and I'm going to find a way to just kind of squeeze that in.
Just yet. But McFarlane nailed it with this face. It is, but it's just not the best. It didn't come out quite as clean as I would like for it. Sculpt. Looking at the rest of the costume.
Okay, looking at the rest. All right, so I want to take the first part out and leave the second part in. I think that it's important to, really get that criticism in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this clip and I'm just going to take it all the way to the end so I know where it is. And I'm going to bring everything back together.
And then after I'm done talking about the face, I will throw in the previous clip talking about the costume and the B-roll that was associated with that. And I think the zombie-fied nature of the Superman. So let's talk about the face. Zombies just yet. But that being said, look at the face. All right, so here's the face. Highlighting, head sculpt. I absolutely love it. It's what really draws everything out. The skin. Now I just have to find a place to talk about the costume. You can see like the wrinkles and stuff on the arms, you know, so it really does look like a corpse. Maybe in this. Here. And they did a great job with that. Here. Looking on the back, it's not that. Well, maybe, no, not right here. Traditional Superman cape is really easily. And another thing with these Superman figures in general, really easily. All right, so I'm going to insert it at this point because next I'm going to start talking about articulation. Don't want to quite move to articulation just yet. I want to be able to put this in. Just gotta try to make it not appear too jarring. I mean, it's going to be a jump cut, but you know, I still want it to be coherent with the continuity to still stay there. It out of the way really easily. Looking at the rest of the costume, this S is kind of sloppy, so it didn't. Okay, great. So then I move the S over here, the B-roll for that. Out quite as clean as I would like for it to, and at times I kind of have to squint my eyes and tilt my head in order to see whether or not that's actually an S. I mean, it is, but it's just not the best. Looking on the back, you can see that because, you know, this guy's a corpse, his cape is, you know, kind of tattered. All right, so that works. You know, this guy's a corpse. His looking on the back, you can see that. Okay, and what starts here? And another thing with these Superman figures in general is that they're always so easy to work with. His cape is, you know, kind of tattered, is shattered here. Let's see here. And I think the zombie fight. Okay. I thought that I had something where I was talking about the cape because I was talking about the cape and I kind of messed up. But maybe I talk about that a little bit later. We'll see what happens. So I'll cut this short. You know, this guy's a corpse. Looking on the back. Let's just move this up a little bit. This S is kind of sloppy. Looking on the back. Move that up a little bit more. Looking at the rest of the costume, this S is kind of sloppy. Okay. Looking on the back, S, I mean, it is, but it's just not the best. Looking. All right, so just not the best. I will cut it there. The best. All right, so I will cut this here. And I mean, I understand it's not the most exciting video in the world, but you know, this is the real world look at how this stuff goes. I mean, you just imagine on people who edit stuff for like major motion pictures, you know, all day long. They're sitting there and they're like, you know, this is the flow, man. This is the flow. Okay, let's keep going. In order to see whether or not that's actually an S. I mean, it is, but it's just not the best. And another thing with these Superman figures in general is that they're always so easy to work with because they're not held down by, you know, costumes. Okay, so this is the articulation portion. Positions, whereas this one can do the same thing on the left side. No B-roll here because I'm showing off the articulation. Flight stand, but I think if he was in mid-flight, that's what I. Okay, there's another gap here. Let's see what that's about. Getting him to stand up on his own. Okay, so at this point, I was making sure that the focus was still there because I do these figure reviews in manual focus, and I try my best to make sure that everything is still in focus. That's why I don't move the figures forward and back
because I don't want to rely on the autofocus missing it and then it starts hunting and it just becomes a pain. So I try to keep it in one place and just sort of rotate them around instead of going back and forth. But sometimes if I feel like I might have done a little bit too much motion, I'll try to just hit autofocus one more time just so I won't have to look at the video again and just think like, oh my God, I have to do all this over because I messed it up. All right. On his own. As far as his stability goes, not too much trouble getting him to stand up on his own. But you do get the black stand, and if you just want to make light. I'm gonna make sure I'm not repeating myself. Hold on. And that came with flight stands. They are all. As far as him standing up goes, not too much trouble. As far as his stability goes. Mm-hmm. Yep, I did repeat myself. They are all on the flight stands on my collection display. All right, so I will cut this out. Display. As far as his stability goes, not too much trouble getting him to stand up on his own, but you do get the black stand, and if you just want to make life so much better with a flight stand. But so you can rock those back and forth. The crunch action is pretty good, is back a pretty good way, the flight stand. And as far as posability goes, if you do have a spare flight stand, his own, but you do get the black stand, and if you just want to make life a little bit easier on yourself, but this review, I am sure, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. But yeah, this Superman, I think because of the story that he's attached to and the lore that Build-A-Figure pieces, and next to the infected. All right, Superman, we are almost done here. Has the Build-A-Figure wave. I think that this one is. So that's it, you guys. I'm Jeremy. I'll talk to you later. All right. So if we have reached the end. And I'm not going to get rid of this B-roll yet, but it kind of just goes to show that I use these two clips for B-roll, but I still have some of this going on. I mean, it's not really anything substantial, but, it is still there. Okay, I don't need this. So I'm going to get rid of this. That is the core of the video review. Now I just start to add in some of the extra things. So from here, I'm going to add the cross dissolve at the end so that it fades out. I'm going to zoom in so I can make sure that it actually took. And I'm also going to save because you never know. These things crash sometimes. And now I'm going to go into the power bins and the frequently used parts to throw in everything else. So let's see, what should I do first? I guess it doesn't matter. I'll do the subscribe thing first. It comes from the MKBHD Davinci Resolve pack. I don't know what the official name of it is, but he had one for this, and I think for Final Cut and Premiere Pro. So I bought that and just tweaked it a bit. So there's where the whole thing is like, hey, subscribe. And it's going to be a little bit choppy because it has to render. But I know that it's going to be there. Next, I'm going to figure out where to put the review score. So let's just listen in. And then, of course, you get the Build-A-Figure pieces. I know we have a lot of Superman and we have a lot of Batman, but I love the uniqueness of it all. And name right, I'm not sure. Build-A-Figure. But yeah, I know we have a lot of Superman and we have a stand up on his own. But yeah, this Superman, I think because of the story that he's attached to. But yeah, this Superman, I think because of the story that he's attached to and the lore that it brings in this amazing looking face sculpt, I think that he will make a wonderful addition to your collection. Wonderful addition brings in this amazing looking face sculpt. I think that he will make a face sculpt. I think that he. I don't know what that screeching noise was. Scope. I think that he will make a wonderful. I think that. All right, I'll put it here. So review score, I'm going to toss it right here, and then I'm just going to tweak it a little bit. All right, so I'm going to go over here to the settings here, And I'm just going to change some, probably change some colors and then also change uh, some of the scores. So what color do I want to use for the little boxes here? That is the question. I try to I try to make a color or pick a color that's relevant to the character. So if it was a character that had green on them, I try to use green boxes. If it was a character that had a lot of red, I try to use red boxes. But this is silver and black, and not sure how it's gonna look necessarily. But oh, actually, it might look just fine. Let's see if it was all. I might. I kind of. I don't know. I think that that's too much white. I mean, it's white in the conclusion, it's white in the words, and now it's white in the boxes. I need some differentiating factors. I'll just make it red. Yeah, red for his eyes. Okay, cool. I'm going to just leave it red. So let's check out these scores. Sculpted detail. Yeah, I think a 4 for the sculpted detail. It's going to be either 3 or 4. I'm going to go 4 because of the face and because of the wrinkliness on the skin. I think that that's good. But then I'm also going to take a point away because that S doesn't look all that great. The articulation, I mean, articulation is fine. I think it's good. That gets a 5. Stability, yeah, I think 4 is fine for the stability of it. The paint, it's kind of, I mean, on one hand, it's not McFarlane's fault that it's just a regular black and silver suit. I mean, it is what it is. And then the paint on the eyes and the face, that looks good. And then the price is the Build-A-Figure price, $25 with the Build-A-Figure piece. I think that's fine. I'm probably not going to change any of these scores. I don't think the paint should get a 5. Stability, nothing's ever perfect, and he's not horrible at stability, but it's not the best thing in the world. I think I'm going to leave it like this. But if I wanted to change it, I would just change these values here. Like this first line value is a 4. So if I said sculpted detail is a 1, it would just be like that. And then it can just increase just like this all the way to 5. So I'm just going to keep it there at 4. And it's going to fade its way out. And then, of course, you get. All right, so we're done with that. And now I'm going to scoot all the way to the beginning. I'm going to Control A to highlight everything, move this down a healthy amount. And then I'm going to throw in the intro here. I'm going to throw in the Fig review here. And then the music here. So here's how it's going to look. Mind the choppiness. All right, so what I need to do, and it's weird because sometimes when I bring in this here for the figure review portion, it's just completely black and I don't know why. Because usually it would just take the values from what was there previously, but for some reason, it's just not there anymore. And I really don't know why. Because the content controls, these title controls, is supposed to say figure review, but it doesn't say figure review. So here's what happens when I run into stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this and I'm going to pull this from another review. So I'm going to hit my home button and I'm going to go to the Constantine review. That was the last review that I did of a figure. I'm going to load up the Constantine review and I'm going to go to the beginning of the Constantine review. And I am just going to grab. Oops. That is so weird. It's missing in the Constantine review as well. That is so weird. I wonder what's going on. All right, so let's just try to grab another one. Here's the Goku review. I don't have the media for it anymore, but this should still be here. This is weird. Now it's saying media offline. This media is offline, but this media should not be offline. That is so strange. What is happening? Let's keep trying. Here's the Batman of Earth 22. This is weird. I don't know why it's doing that. I don't know why it's not here. All right, so we'll just have to remake it. All right, so let's go back to the Black Lantern Superman. And we'll just have to figure out why this is not working. So let's get the title for this, the MKBHD Title 3. And I'm just going to find it and remake it. MKBHD Title 3. Where is it? Right here. So, you know, it's supposed to look like this. You know, it's just altered. And I don't know why it isn't, but hey, whatever. We'll fix it. We'll fix it here. All right, so content controls, title controls. So I just changed unboxing to figure review. And I'm taking out the new item arrived. I don't need that. So I take that. I could have just unchecked that too. Still same thing. And I don't want to have the red right there. So I need to take that red out. Let's see, where is that? Where is the red? Do, 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 do. All right, take away the add layer. Okay, I want to make that bigger if I can. Let's see. Figure review. Let's scale that up a little bit. About right there. The drop zone is where I'm going to put the photo. So my drop zone controls, I'm going to go to browse, and I'm just going to grab this picture here. All right, drop zone scale. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger, and then I'm going to see, drop zone position. Do I want to alter that? Probably not. I think that's fine where it is there. And I want to offset the media just a bit so that you could see that. All right, I think that works. So let's get rid of that. Let's whoa, no, messed up. Let's drag this over to here. So it goes. Okay. So now I'm just going to bring everything back over here and then just do a couple of other transitions, some regular generic transitions, not the MKBHD ones, but just regular ones. So I'm going to do a blur dissolve right here to me. And then for the audio transition, a crossfade with -3 dB gain, so the audio just sort of fades out. Hey everybody, so today I've got the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Black Lantern. And I'm going to do another transition in between the box and here. And that's just going to be another blur dissolve right there. Let's take a look at this Superman. So here's our Black Lantern. All right. Now I'm just going to look to make sure that everything is lined up still. Everything is still lined up. There's the end. Ladies and gentlemen, we are done with this review. I'm going to go to deliver. The worst thing about the free version of Davinci Resolve is that I cannot use my GPU to render this stuff. That's only in the paid version. And my GPU is a NVIDIA RTX 3060. And I could render these things a lot faster if I had access to the GPU, but I don't. So can't use it. So I'm just going to make a title for this. I'm just going to call it Black. Why do I have my caps on? Black Lantern Soups. And it's going to be in 4K.
There's my frame rate. My quality, I'm going to restrict it to 100,000 kbps, and I'm going to add it to the render queue, and then I'm going to hit render all. I'm going to do that after I stop the video because this is going to need pretty much all of my CPU power to do. But yeah, that was a look at the entire workflow process, errors and all, when it comes to putting together videos. And this was just an action figure review, something that was a lot more complicated, like when I reviewed that espresso machine, or when I reviewed the computer that I'm using. That takes a lot more time. There's a lot more clips. There's the audio that you have to deal with. There's me messing up that I have to try to clean up, and just a lot of different things in between. So yeah, it can be a time consuming process, or it can be a very straightforward process. It just kind of depends on how much you get right in the camera the first time and how much you want to add to it later on. But I hope that provided you with some insight, or maybe even some tips or tricks or whatever. But overall, I'm just glad that you clicked on the video at all. So thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Jeremy. I'll talk to you later.